Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints here with my UCL Fantasy Draft update. As always, if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. New for the 25-26 season, I've got a WhatsApp broadcast channel. Feel free to join on the link below. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, a link of that is in the description below as well. As I said in my last video, I was going to do an update, and there'll be, of course, a final draft as well ahead of the match day 1 deadline. Upon reflection, I kind of feel that the team that I've made, whilst it's balanced, it's probably a bit too balanced. And at the same time, I feel that it's a bit too long haul. Whereas with UCL Fantasy, you could make a team just for one match day and wildcard straight away, just due to the limited number of games. So I've had a think, and there are some changes that I want to make. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Uh, let's just sort it by opponent first of all. And I can see there are quite a few matches where they're playing at home. There's also a fair few that are playing away. And as much as I like Girassi, there are other strikers who probably cost a bit less or same price point who I could get instead. So I'm going to deselect him. I will keep Dembele and Isak for the time being as part of this draft update. And Caicedo, as good as he is, I think 6 million is a bit too much. And I'm sure there's probably a 5.0 or 5.5 alternative that I can find. So out he goes. I'll keep Elise for attacking Bayern cover, despite it being Chelsea that he's facing off. Vinicius Junior makes sense. I'll keep Yamal. I know it's away at St James Park, but with that fixture and that team, and with Barcelona as they are, makes sense to retain him. With Calafiori, as great as he is, that is a slightly tricky fixture as well. And I'm looking for another defender who I could potentially get on a like-for-like basis. Now, he is a bit of a rotation risk. It's not to say I'm going to just pick safety first players, but I'll just deselect him for the time being. And then onto the other defender, the 4.0 that I've got there. I'll probably keep Fresneda for the time being. And the other change I'm going to make, it's Hakimi, that I feel that with him, again, he is a good long-term pick, but for that first fixture, I could potentially shift funds around. I feel that with Johnson, there's probably other players that can offer more bang for buck instead. So I'll deselect him as well for the time being. Now with the goalkeepers, I did say that Trubin is a mild rotation risk because he was starting the Champions League matches at the same time I saw that he was getting benched in the league matches. So I'll keep him. I mean, the reason I've got Chevalier and Trubin is I understand they're both regular starters. They're both 4.5 million. So that's the best 4.5 combo I can have for the time being. And it's not locked in, but for the purpose of this update, I will retain them as they are. So just going to also show players that are highly selected as well. So I haven't got Mbappe, as I've mentioned, and I have now deselected Hakimi. Haven't got Rafinha, but of course I've got Yamal. And I'm actually going to go for a few differentials here. I'm not really too bothered about who is and who isn't a template player for the purpose of this draft. You can see there's quite a few that I've missed out on. So starting off with the first defender, there's a defender who actually is known for his attacking prowess, who I don't think is even highly owned in UCL Fantasy at the time of recording. And he's not even picked for international duty. I'm going to scroll all the way down. There he is, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So very reasonable opening fixture. Now, he is a bit of rotation risk for that Real Madrid team. I think of the first 3 matches, he started 2, and he actually was like a sub in another match. So I just feel on a like-for-like basis that with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Hakimi both offer the attacking prowess. Yes, Hakimi is more nailed on for X-Mins, but I just feel that it's a favourable fixture for Trent for the opening match more so than Hakimi. Now, in terms of the forwards, just going to actually go all the way up here. And again, sort it by percentage because this player might be a bit of a differential, so it won't be Kane or Grassi. I do like João Pedro at that price point, but the fixture is a bit difficult. So again, a bit too long haul there. So of course, Haaland and quite a few of these players are quite expensive, but it's actually Pavlidis. Now, Pavlidis, who plays for Benfica, he is quite a prolific striker for his club. Scored 29 goals in 53 club games last season. Then he was at AZ Alkmaar the season before, 33 goals in 46 games. In a nutshell, if Benfica are going to score, and you'd expect them to score against the likes of Karabakh, that he will definitely be involved in some shape or form. So with a short-term focus, I would really be hard-pressed in not having Pavlidis for my Matchday 1 draft. So he comes in this update as a replacement for Guirassy. If it was a 50-50 just for that one fixture, Pavlidis over Guirassy, and that's allowed me to unlock some funds. So I think that is a no-nonsense pick right there. Now, the other pick I'm going to go on, I kind of felt I didn't have coverage from this team. I'm going to sort it by percentage because his ownership, he won't be the most highest owned player, but he does offer like a different type of prowess from the attacking side and defensive side, and it's Rangers, so £6.5 million. And again, I look at the price point with what Johnson offers versus Rangers, and the difference is that Rangers has the attacking and defensive prowess, and of course you've got ball recoveries in UCL Fantasy, whereas with Johnson there isn't really any defensive prowess. So I feel that there is more points per million and value as a whole for Rangers. So gonna keep him in for this draft update. So I've got £11.5 million and 2 players to pick. So yeah, just looking at the defense, Fresneda 4.0 placeholder, have him perhaps for the time being in that for that fixture in mind. And again, Huijsen and Alexander-Arnold happy to double up for that first match. They're at home, and got Vinicius Junior to complete the actual triple up for Real Madrid. So in terms of midfield, I really want to go for, again, someone who I can really get from the defensive point of view. So I'm going to really cap the actual spend here. So let's look for a player who's not more than, probably not even 6.5. Let's cap it to £6 million and see what's available. So yeah, of course, got João Neves, but I'm factoring in the fixture. Got Gravenberch, could be an option there. And then just going further down, a lot of these other names become a bit more, apart from Goretzka, they become a bit more obscure. I did have Caicedo, but I want to go cheaper than 6 million if it's possible. So he could be a fallback option if I can't find anyone here. Got Sabitzer as well, of course. I'm looking for a team that has a slightly favourable fixture, or home fixture here as well. We've got, of course, Zaire Emery, Conor Gallagher, but fixture is a bit tricky. So yeah, the options look a bit slim here, but this is the one I want to pick. So bit of a differential. João Palhinha, owned by just 1% of UCL Fantasy managers. But with him, the reason I've selected him specifically is, albeit, are his X-Mins an issue? Potentially. If Spurs are losing, no doubt he'll get subbed off. But I'd expect him to start regularly in the Champions League. But it's really the defensive attributes that really stand out to me for João Palhinha in terms of what he's capable of doing. And at that price point, if you look at the players that are available, there aren't that many that can do what he can do. Again, I'd argue even from a points per million basis, he could probably be similar to what Reinders does, but of course Reinders is extra million more. Now, Palhinha isn't known for his goals, but I do want some sort of Spurs, say attacking cover, but yeah, just additional Spurs cover without spending too much, because you kind of feel that literally any of their players could score or get an assist, and there isn't really a focal point of the attack. Gone are the days of them having Son and Kane. So I'll pick Palhinha with the ball recoveries metric factored in, and also the good thing, if I just get the date here as well, he plays that first match, so if he doesn't make any impact, I can of course sub him out, as with Pedro Porro as well. So you could, I'm kind of flipped it, almost like Pedro Porro offers that attacking prowess and he's got the defensive side. And yeah, Palhinha just a bit of a maverick pick. Probably pick up defensive contribution points if possible. And yeah, if he doesn't get 5 or 6 points for me in that first match at that price point, then he can be switched fairly easily. That leaves me with £6 million in defence. And the player that I was going to pick in this price point, it was Dumfries. But then you could make a case that you've got Ajax. Long term, the matches aren't too bad either. But then, you could say with Hakimi as well, he's got a trickier run beyond that first match. So the question is, who else could I pick for £6 million in defence? So Alexander-Arnold, I'm going to take that chance on. Same with Pedro Porro, Huijsen. So a lot of these defenders will play on that first match day. And if I just quickly pick Hakimi, he plays on the 17th. So just looking at percentage, actually, who else offers value here? Got Dumfries. I'm looking for like a really easy fixture. There don't seem to be many easy fixtures for defenders of a premium price for that first match day. It's not like there's team X versus a really easy team. But to be fair, the other option I've got just missed him there. You've got Otamendi at 5 million, could be an option there as well. But I really want like attacking prowess. So for me, it comes down to I could go back to Hakimi, or I could go to Dumfries. And with Dumfries as well, long term, if I didn't wildcard early, look at the second fixture, Slavia Prague. You got USG in the match after that. You got Kairat as well. Whereas with Hakimi, after that first match, Atlanta, you got Barcelona away, you got Leverkusen away, Bayern Munich at home. So the case I'm making here is that as good as Hakimi is, I look at the fixture run as well as that opening fixture, and I think Dumfries edges it just based on fixtures alone. But of course, Hakimi is like fixture proof. That goes without saying. But I just want to basically have a bit more variation in terms of what I've got there. But yeah, attacking prowess across the defense except for Huijsen and Presneda. Hoping I've got rotating goalkeepers here who are X-Min safe. And then the midfield, I kind of feel that it's not like super heavy. Got my two premiums there. And then you've got Elise mid price, and then Reinders and Palhinha more on the budget side. And the strikers, I'd argue Isak and Dembele are the premiums. With Pavlidis, wouldn't call him budget, but he's mid price. So I'm going to confirm those changes now and just look for it on a like-for-like basis. That Girassi to Pavlidis, I'd say that is an upgrade. Johnson to Reinders, I'd say slightly an upgrade. Caicedo to Palhinha, I think that's arguably probably not as much of an upgrade, but then Palhinha is slightly cheaper. And then Hakimi's going out for Dumfries. I've made the case there already. And then Calafiori for Trent. I feel that I can justify that. And just sort it by date as well, just to make sure that the players that play early on are there. So yeah, again, captaincy remains unaffected for the 16th, 17th, and 18th. So Vinicius Jr. for the 16th captaincy option. I've got Dembele for the 17th, and I've got Yamal for the 18th. So there you have it. Those are the players as things stand with this draft update. As I've mentioned, there will be another update just before match day one itself when there's further news. And of course, with the international break, all sorts of injuries and the like can happen. So this is far from my final team, but it's kind of heading in the right direction in terms of the players that I want to pick and looking at who they're facing as well. Pretty much all of these players are playing at home, which I wanted as well, that you get that home factor, first match of the Champions League. So I wanted to factor that in as well. Of course, Dumfries is the exception for that home factor. So there you have it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Have I got the balance Right, have I got the balance wrong? Are there any misses that I've got? Is it a bit too differential? Should I go more template? And as always, if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Take care and all the best.